Alton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar and Ayden. These are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders Homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
At Jersey Mike's, app is short for appetizing because you'll save 25% with the code JMikes25, but only when you use the Jersey Mike's app, February 15th through 18th. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. At Jersey Mike's, app is short for appetizing because you'll save 25% with the code JMikes25, but only when you use the Jersey Mike's app, February 15th through 18th. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above.
UBE and PirateWear.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory ever. Brand new Adidas is arriving daily, along with Under Armour, Columbia, and Russell Athletic. UBE is loaded with cargo, and new items are being added daily to PirateWear.com. Be sure to check out our children's store, The Crow's Nest, for all of your young pirates. UBE and PirateWear.com, an ECU tradition for 50 years. Go Pirates!
North Carolina state parks are now open for visitors. Parks should be used for exercise, fresh air, getting out in nature, or a day trip as the state safely reopens. Visitors should enjoy themselves, but please remember the 3 W's. Wear face coverings, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. Focus on moving through the park, keep social distancing in mind, and avoid large groups. While most facilities and activities will be open, please contact any state park before your visit with questions or visit ncparks.gov/open.
Hey, Eastern North Carolina, this is Miles Minges. And this is Landon Minges with Minges Bottling Group. We are proud to announce that Pepsi is once again the official soft drink of the ECU Pirates. That's right, Miles. Our family's purple and gold roots run deep. From founding members of the Pirate Club, alumni, and even a team physician, our support over the last 60 years has never wavered. We are Pirates. We're excited to be back at ECU and are honored to serve our great customers throughout Eastern North Carolina. Not only is this the birthplace of Pepsi-Cola, this is our home. Cheers, Pirate Nation. I like the sound of that. Support local, drink local, stay safe, and drink Pepsi.
Warren's Hot Dog Pizza, homemade lemonade.
Hey Pirate Nation, Warren's Hot Dogs 2 locations are open for business in Greenville and Chocowinity. Both locations have drive-through windows, so stop by today for hot dogs, pizzas, subs, apple and peach turnovers, homemade lemonade, and breakfast in Chocowinity, featuring homemade cheese, ham, and chicken biscuits, plus sausage dogs and more. Warren's in Greenville across from Ron Ayers Motorsports and in Chocowinity next to the fire department. Warren's Hot Dogs. Want some? Get some.
Oh, great. It's 30 degrees in here.
No one's coming out this late.
I'm on firewood.
Dad! I'll put hot coals in our socks for bedtime.
Mom!
I'm from Delcor Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Got an email about your heat being out?
That was me. I sent it from my phone.
I think your socks are on fire.
Delcor responds to heating emergencies 24 hours a day. Go to delcorinc.com or call 252-321-8868. Get a new train system with special financing for 60 months, subject to credit approval. It's hard to stop a train. Offer expires 3/31/21.
This is Mark Washington with Max Sports Performance at Max Fitness. Our facility has reopened and is following all safety protocols. The best thing you can do to strengthen your immune system is, of course, to work out and exercise on a regular basis. I can assist you as your performance coach. You can also enjoy the benefits of a private facility. Avoid the crowds and work out at Max Fitness. Now is the time to get healthy. Max Fitness, just off Highway 43 in the old Ace Hardware Building behind Speedway in Greenville. Call me, Mark Washington, 902-4877.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, BMS Builders, The Rick House, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Seared Chop House, Taft and Hagler, and by Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Monday, everybody. It is game week at East Carolina for Pirate Baseball. Your nationally ranked East Carolina Pirate Baseball program opens this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with Rhode Island in town. Of course, it's always this time of the year, weather permitting, but hopefully the skies will clear and we'll have Pirate Baseball. Malcolm Gray is in the studio with us live today. He's the Director of Media Relations. He's in charge of baseball. We welcome him to our show. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Now, we usually have Coach Palumbo on the week before the season starts, and he was all scheduled to go, but because of the weather, the Pirates have been wiped out of practice the last couple of days, and this is about the only time they could practice, and so we've got a pinch hitter today. But if you're going to have a pinch hitter, this guy probably hits 400 off the bench.
I probably weigh that too sometimes, but thanks for having me on. Coach Palumbo yesterday got up with me and said that with all the bad weather, they were going to go to practice earlier today. Typically Mondays are their off days,
right.
So with being off for basically the last 2 days, they need to get some workouts, some work in before we open up with Rhode Island.
And that's got to be one of the hardest parts of baseball is practicing in January, early February. We live in a great place, and the weather's usually pretty good, but these are the worst months for the weather, January and February.
Yeah, no doubt. The good thing about it is we actually got a really nice, two facilities, right. The indoor hitting facility and the pitching facility, which is, right behind the visitors' dugout. But when it's really cold, you like to be out there. You like to have guys see live work and game situation scrimmages, basically what they're doing right now. And just to get everybody into a workflow and something more normal than what we've had over the last, year or so, and so that's why they decided to go today.
We've got lots to talk about with Malcolm because everything has changed because of COVID-19. Hopefully next year we'll get back to normal. This thing started differently for you guys, in March of last year. You guys got, several games in, and then all of a sudden the world shut down. So we'll talk about that from last year, the changes for this year, and much more as we preview the 2021 baseball season for East Carolina. That's coming up right after this.
It's time to pack your bags and head to CPW's for a culinary stroll through the world-famous French Quarter while counting down the days to Mardi Gras. The staff is cooking up some Cajun delights that are guaranteed to make your mouth water. Indulge, if you will, on the homemade gumbo of the day and fry green tomato remoulade, etouffee, or Cajun-style shrimp. So grab a taste of New Orleans and let the good times roll with CPW's, Stanton Square, across from the hospital in Greenville.
This is what you want. This is how you get it. For less during Bostic Sugg Furniture's President's Day sale. Beautiful furniture at historic savings up to 15% off. All in stock. Custom orders, bedding, and clearance up to 15% off. Plus 12-month special financing or 60-month special financing. Step up to better sleep on a comfortable Restonic mattress and get a free box spring. It's a President's Day sale not to be missed. Going on now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-styled restaurant and bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and the best burgers around. Check out the spicy mahi risotto or the bourbon pecan salmon. Wednesday night is date night. 2 salads, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and a dessert for just $55. Thursday is ladies' night with $5 martinis and special apps. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville. The Rick House.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in Eastern North Carolina. With Blackwood and Mills Creek in Greenville, Dalton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar and Ayden, these are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
At Tiebreakers, we admit we have a bit of a problem. People love our wings so much that they're starting to sell their home TVs just so they can watch all the sporting events here at Tiebreakers. Seriously, we're glad you love our hand-breaded, hand-cut boneless wings that much, but we really need you to go home at the end of the night. It's okay, we'll be here tomorrow. And when you come back, bring a friend with you. For great food, great friends, and cold beer, we'll see you at Tiebreakers. Tiebreakers, break the chain, eat local.
Got big dreams for your small business? You're not alone. The Gavigan Agency Insurance Services is a growing business too. That's why they work with Nationwide, the #1 small total business insurer in the U.S. Nationwide can help protect and grow your business so you can focus on making your small business dreams come true. Give the Gavigan Agency Insurance Services a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
This is Big John Williams, strength and conditioning coach for East Carolina football, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back. We open up your game week with East Carolina Pirate Baseball. Malcolm Gray is our guest live in the studio, and we're talking Pirate Baseball. And, you know, we talked about it a little bit going to break. Last year, the season ended so abruptly. That had to be absolutely bizarre because I remember, and it's funny, I remember when it ended. I didn't remember, per se, that it ended on a walk-off, but Cliff Godwin will remind you in a heartbeat that that's how it ended. He still thinks about that game. But in your case, I mean, what were you thinking? And did you think at that time when you finished up the Wilmington game or coming back, did you think the season might be over?
No, we didn't. Corey Glore, our play-by-play guy, he and I have talked about this a lot. We were, as the game was going on, we were getting reports, via Twitter, this conference is canceling, and the next thing you know, walk-off home run. Unfortunately, the Pirates lost. We're on our way coming back, and then that's when we found out the NBA was shutting down for a little bit. And leading up to that, the Ivy League said that they weren't going to play. We were supposed to play Columbia. Right. So Coach Palumbo and Coach Godwin were, and they'll tell you and admit it that they were sitting there right before game time and everything. They're on their phones trying to find somebody to come in and play, or either we were going to go somewhere. We were trying to find a weekend to play, and didn't work out. And then, the series is canceled, so we didn't play anybody that weekend. Come Monday, still trying to figure it out. And then Tuesday, I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday, Jeff Palumbo said that he was on his way going to recruiting, and all of a sudden it came out that North Carolina was stopping for 6 weeks, playing North Carolina high school was stopping, and then we saw the tweet that said that Omaha is canceled. That's when we knew everything was done.
Yeah, man, that was sad. That was a sad time. Yeah. So that Wilmington game, I think, was on a Wednesday, if I remember.
It was a Wednesday,
because I was going to Greensboro for the ACC tournament on Thursday, and I had the same type of feeling. You started seeing Twitter started saying, this tournament's canceled, this tournament. The ACC was supposed to be their third day of play, started at noon with Florida State, the #1 seed, and so they were warming up, getting ready to go, and then they went back in the locker room, and then they didn't come back out about 12, and we were all like, uh-oh, here we go. And then the commissioner came out and announced that Florida State would be their champion, and they would be the #1 seed if there was an NCAA tournament. So we knew right there that probably wasn't going to be an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we were actually on, like I said, we were on the bus heading to Wilmington, and it was a 6:30 game, so we're leaving at 1:30, 2 o'clock. And we started seeing all those tweets that you I remember you tweeting out about it and everybody else, and we're like, this doesn't look good. No. And then all of a sudden we get, like I said, we're maybe 45 minutes outside of Wilmington, then we hear the Ivy League's canceled. So we're like, and Zach Womack, our athletic trainer, he sits right beside me. He said, did you see this? I was like, no. I said, who's going to go tell Cliff? And because he's up there.
Draw straws.
Yeah, and he's up there, scouting and getting last minute prep before. And then I think what happened is Zach Womack showed it to Jeff Palumbo, who sits right in front of me, and he told Cliff. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're on the phones, they're texting, they're like, what's going on? And trying to figure out, A, is it true? B, okay, if it's true, what are we going to do now? What can we do? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think somewhere in Richmond might have had a tournament that was going on. So we're thinking about maybe we were going to go up there to play, looking at Radford to come down to us. There was just so many different scenarios, and then it just blew up. And like I said, unfortunately after the walk-off win, we find out that an NBA player tested positive for COVID-19. And then Corey looked right at me and said, yeah, I think this season's over with. And it was 4 days later.
Yeah, and that's funny because at first it was so shocking that this thing's canceled, but I still thought, there's no way they'll cancel the whole season. I mean, this thing will go away in a week or two, and I was totally wrong. But it's just, I mean, it's something that we've never lived through before. We hope we never live through again. But, you know, and it's still affecting everything. But, you know, and it's funny because you talked about the fact that the Ivy League canceled, so you're scrambling trying to find games. That's almost unheard of. And now it's almost a part of everyday life because you wake up and this game's canceled, and this team's trying to find a game, and they're putting on Twitter they're looking for games, and so it's
another way of trying to get information out. I mean, that's where we live in right now. Everything's social media. It's a quick way to get information out and gain information. Now, let's hope it's all true sometimes. Even to the point last night, I saw that Kentucky and North Carolina were supposed to open up their series in Chapel Hill. Kentucky had COVID cases. It's already been postponed or canceled, that series. So now they're looking to try to find somebody because they open up next weekend. So boom, it's already started with baseball. And we're not even playing yet.
Steve Rockefeller had the best line. He said he wished he had $1 for every time he scouted a team that East Carolina didn't play this year because they had so many that they had to scout and get ready for, and then all of a sudden there's an issue and they don't get a chance to play. And it's just been, rarely do you have a situation where, football schedules are usually made, almost decades in advance. And this year there were people scrambling and playing late, and they throw games together. And then the same thing with basketball. And it's just something we've never seen before.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I say if there's a good thing with baseball, a lot of the things are done pretty much like within a year. So you can maneuver a lot. But when you start getting those big money games for football, a South Carolina, us going to South Carolina for a big money game, or, pick any two other schools of that happening, and all of a sudden, you don't see it. We saw it in basketball. You're supposed to have Gonzaga and Baylor 1 versus 2 play, I think, the first or second weekend of the season in Gonzaga. Didn't happen because of COVID and everything, and that's a matchup people want to see.
Well, when you look at the schedule, even Rhode Island's supposed to come this weekend. If something would happen, to Rhode Island beforehand, I mean, that's going to be a scramble right there because everybody wants to play. And you talked about it from last year, that week of the Wilmington game, because that was a time of the season that you almost have to play because you have to get into some kind of rhythm before you get into conference play. So this thing, there's no telling what teams you're going to play. The good thing about being at East Carolina and being in the state of North Carolina, there are so many good programs around that if another program has an issue, there's some good teams you can play in the state that won't cost you that much to get to, and won't cost them much to come here.
Yeah, absolutely, and good regionally as well as with Virginia and South Carolina as well. So you can even go that extra step, especially if it's a weekend series. You can go that go a little further. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of good baseball in the state of North Carolina. So you can find teams to play if you need to do that. If say you something matched up with your off weekend, or like North Carolina, if for some reason Wilmington had a cancellation this weekend, those two could play and they could do it very easily.
All right, the Pirates, let's see, as far as the rankings go, East Carolina number 23 in the USA Today coaches poll that was released last week. East Carolina also ranked in the perfect game poll at 13, collegiate baseball 16, the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association poll at 19, and D1 baseball at number 25. Is your role, do you have anything to do with how they're ranked as far as a vote, or do they talk to you? Anybody call you, hey, where do you think they should go, that kind of thing?
No, they really don't. I'm on the exec board for the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association, so I do have a vote in that poll, but the others I do not have a vote in it. And typically they take it over, especially preseason. They take it from what your team did last year, what you're bringing back, what did you lose, what didn't you lose type stuff. And I think Baseball America is the only poll that we are not ranked in going in. And I think we were maybe 18 or 19 when the season ended last year in that poll. But, I think they put reading, their assessment of the conference. They think that UCF is going to be one of the teams to beat this year, along with East Carolina, maybe even Houston and Tulane. And so Baseball America kind of gave them the nod over us this year in their preseason poll.
Are you pretty pleased with where the Pirates are ranked? Or do you think they're overranked, underranked? What do you think?
I think that's about right. I mean, the bad thing about it is there's so many polls. I mean, there's 5 polls.
Right, that was my next question.
And we're anywhere from 13 to 25.
Right.
There's a lot of different polls out there. I kind of like to go with either D1 baseball or the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Poll. Looks at those two, just because those are individuals who see everything that's going on, not just their team, but they look at their conference, their region, and things like that. Those voters do.
When you look at which poll do you guys use on a day-to-day basis? Do you use the highest ranking for East Carolina?
Yeah, that's what over the last couple of years, that's what we meaning the SIDs have been doing. A lot of people are now going towards the D1 baseball poll because that's what the NCAA recognizes.
Okay.
So D1 baseball, they are that is when you look at their national rankings and things like that. When someone writes a story and it goes on, the NCAA website, that's the ranking that they use.
Is there any thought that maybe at some point they would just go down to one or two? I mean, I say go to 2 rankings, but then you still have 2 rankings. Can they not just get 1 ranking?
Well, right now with social media and everything, and the age of the internet, and everybody has podcasts, everybody has blogs. They have like working with 247 Sports. Perfect Game is one of those, and they're so specialized. There's so many of them, and I can name 3 or 4 more that you're not even thinking about. College Sports Madness. That's a company.
I haven't heard of that one.
And they do football, baseball, and basketball. And so,
where's East Carolina ranked in that one?
I think they were 18th in that one.
Okay.
So the consistency is there. It's a top 25 team, but there again, Brian, you and I, and we can get Clip and Shirley, and we can create our own poll.
That's right.
So everybody right now can do it, but the industry leaders are Baseball America, D1 baseball, collegiate baseball, and I think the Baseball Writers Association. I think those are your 4 industry leaders, and with the collegiate baseball being the oldest, which was started back in the 60s.
But you think D1 baseball is the one that is recognized by the NCAA, and that's
the one pretty much everybody goes with, which is Kyle Peterson, Aaron Fitt, Kendall Rogers, those guys.
It's funny when you talk about, I was just getting ready to say something about being ranked so highly last season, but that would be the 2019 season, whenever the Pirates really should have hosted, a super regional. Is there, because in talking to Cliff, and I think sometimes he's frustrated and says, maybe there's no way we'll ever be able to, to be in a top 8 seed. I think there's still a chance, but I just think you have to do so many things and win so many games that maybe, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You look at the 2019 season and, going 20-4 in the conference.
That's what got me. You're dominating 20-4 in the conference, and,
with the conference has an RPI of 3 or, 2 or 3, maybe 4. And then what you do is you go out on the West Coast and you play at Washington and you take 2 or 3 from Washington. So it's not like you're just doing it right here. You're doing it across the country. And
wasn't that the same year they played at UCLA? Was that the same year or not?
No, actually, no, that was the UCLA year. 2018 is the year we went out to Washington. Yeah, UCLA was number 1. You're right. And we lost 2 of those games. Were very close.
Right.
And you're playing the number 1 team in the country. Bryant Ward. Everybody knows Bryant Ward from around here. And Cliff are really good friends. So we were able to play that game, and you got to see early on how you matched against that team. And that team went to, I think that team went to the College World Series that year.
Would it have taken 1 win maybe to get them over the edge?
I think so.
Man, that's how razor thin that it is.
It really is, yeah. But again, you go 20-4, you dominate your league.
Yeah.
And you don't even get, I wouldn't say you get a sniff, but, we look at it where we were, I think, the 10 seed, and, you just need 2 more spots, and that way you host the regional, and then you get a chance to host a super regional, and you still could. It just things fall in place.
As a 10 seed, you can still host a super regional if the seed that you're matched up with doesn't win, which does happen from time to time. And it's no gimme that once you host a regional that you're going to win that regional, because it happens every year. Teams are upset and teams lose.
Well, we saw in 2019 we lost that first game, and then we had to battle back, and that happens a lot. Yeah. Not to that extent. I think Cliff said it's like 5% of teams have ever played, or 7%. Lost the first game and then ran the tournament, after that. Typically, they might lose the first game. They'll get back to that where you have to beat the undefeated team twice, and then they lose. It's over because they lose their pitching.
Right, and that was, I tell Cliff this all the time, one of the greatest days in East Carolina athletic history. I really believe that sincerely, because that was so much fun, being there, and you can't have a day like that unless you start off with some adversity.
Right.
And it was adverse. I mean, I remember that everybody was down, because you're looking ahead at all those games you have to win to come all the way back through, and the odds are you're not going to do it. But that team did do it and just played their butts off. And I remember on the Monday, and I did a noon live shot and said, this could be a great day. The Pirates got to win here, and then they'll force a game coming up tonight, and then it just played out that way.
It did, and I think our fans, obviously they didn't like the losing the first game, but it does happen. But now all of a sudden, game 2 is winner take all, or winner survive and advance, and you got NC State.
How bizarre was that? You look up, it's like the game you thought was going to be for the winners bracket final.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you got NC State, and you're staring right at that thing, and that was a fun game.
It was a fun game. That whole tournament was fun. After that game, we lost to Quinnipiac. I think we outscored the rest of the tournament field, I think 49-11 over those next 5 games. I mean, we just went crazy, and Coach Godwin, he'll tell you he's not superstitious, but we wore black uniforms the rest of that tournament. if you remember.
Yeah, I do, and that was something to think about, and just everything that went on with those games and winning that deal, and I think. And it's hard to tell, but looking back, they may have been spent when they headed to Louisville. I mean, it was just one of those deals when they got to Louisville. Coach said their practice before the super regional started, he just felt like you could tell there was a little bit that wasn't there, like some of the spark, and you can understand why.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we ended up playing, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday is what we were supposed to play.
They turned into an earlier one. Yeah,
and we play till after midnight Monday night.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you turn right around and you have a practice Wednesday, you leave Thursday, so you're there, or Tuesday, then you leave Wednesday because you're playing Thursday, right. And then all of a sudden rain comes in and they move games up on you.
Yep.
We were supposed to play 3 or 5 o'clock at night, and then all of a sudden, we get back-to-back noon games, and it was just... Yeah, I agree. I think we were spent at that time, and like you say, I think Coach Godwin will agree with that. You were there. I mean, you saw it as well.
And Coach would never use it as an excuse.
No, he would not.
But it's just one of those deals that's just a fact. I mean, we all saw it. We were all there, and it was it wasn't the same Pirate team that took the field for that super regional, and you could kind of just see it out there. But still, you think back to all the accomplishments of that year and everything that happened, and then that led into 2020, which ended so abruptly, and what I really felt for the guys, and I remember Cliff saying some things about in the meetings with the guys, because a lot of those guys thought it was over for good, and Alec Burleson probably made the right decision for what he did, and everybody else pretty much is coming back, so it all kind of worked out. But at first it had to be scared because they didn't know, and they thought it was over.
Yeah, look at get 3 guys who are definitely impactful players on your team. Tyler Smith, who is a 2-year starter, now 3-year starter, 18-3 in his career at ECU. Cam Colmore and Matt Bridges, 2 guys who are 6-year seniors. I mean, those guys, if we play last year, then they're not on your team this year. Now they're back on your team because things got cut short, and they're an extension of the coaching staff. These are guys who've been in the programs 5-6 years. And and then you have like a Turner Brown that's come back, and
legend of Turner Brown.
So you have a lot of senior type leadership on this team, which can bode well for us.
All right, Malcolm Gray is our guest. We're going to crank up the Facebook Live feed and get your questions or comments. If you have some for Malcolm, we'll take another commercial break. Back with more news for you. I say that every day at 5 o'clock. Back with more of the Brian Bailey Show after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, north of the airport on Highway 11 in Greenville. ECU's basketball game at Houston has been postponed Wednesday night. The Pirates are scheduled to play Wichita Sunday at 12 noon. Yesterday, 2 games in the AAC. Tulane got a road win at USF 62-59. Cincinnati got by UCF 69-68. In the top 25, number 3 Michigan beat number 21 Wisconsin 67-59. Number 22 Loyola lost to Drake 51-50 in overtime in Des Moines. In the NBA, the Hornets lost to the Spurs 122-110. Terry Rozier, 33 points in a losing cause for Charlotte. The Hurricanes are home tonight at 7 o'clock hosting the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rod Brindamore's Canes are 9-3 in a four-way tie for second place in the Central Division. And ECU baseball coach Cliff Godwin will be a guest at 5 o'clock tonight right here on Pirate Radio. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Seared Chop House is Greenville's newest restaurant and the city's only true chop house. We combine a remarkable menu with an unrivaled atmosphere. Seared, a quality-driven experience highlighting a thoughtful approach to locally sourced ingredients and hearty, flavor-rich cuisine. We're firing up the grill at Seared, Greenville's only true chop house. Come see us, Fire Tower Road at Bells Fork or SearedChophouse.com.
Sawyer's Fun Park is now open in Greenville. This state-of-the-art 40,000 square foot facility features a 2-story LED interactive laser tag, a one-of-a-kind 2-story ninja course, a ropes course with a 180-degree zip line, and it's only one of 5 in the country that are indoors. Multiple climbing walls, a super cool arcade with 40-plus games, and a brand-new full-service cafe and bar for adults. Visit the brand-new Sawyer's Fun Park, now open, located right behind ARU on Corey Road, Greenville.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water-soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, right beside Duck Donuts in Greenville.
All right, in studio with Candy Cane with F3 and a big event going on this Saturday. Tell us about it.
Huge event. We're going to be at the Town Commons, 7 a.m. It's going to be our 6-year anniversary. We're going to have a 1-hour workout right after, free breakfast. All men are invited, and it's free.
Who can show up?
All men.
Where?
Town Commons.
What time?
7 a.m.
Where can they learn more?
F3ENC.com.
When is it again?
This Saturday, 7 a.m., Town Commons.
One letter, one number, F3.
This is East Carolina assistant basketball coach Steve Rockford, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back to our show on this Monday, game week in East Carolina. Rhode Island is on the clock. They come to Greenville for a 3-game series. We all hope and pray in this COVID-19 era, but hopefully things are on go. Coach Godwin evidently announced it earlier, published reports anyway, say Tyler Smith on Friday, Jake Kuchmaner on Saturday, Carson Wisenhunt on Sunday as far as the rotation for this weekend. It's not official yet, but that's what we're going with for right now. That kind of makes sense if you think about it. I mean, these are experienced pitchers. Carson Wisenhunt, apparently in the preseason, he really put on a show. So, regardless of who starts for this weekend, this is a very deep pitching staff, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I mean, you look at the 17 pitchers that we have on the team. We have 5 that are true freshmen, and 2 of those guys are guys that are going to be playing, or two-way guys. And I was talking with Corey Glore, who got a chance to talk with Coach Dietrich over the weekend, and as he was doing prep, and he and I were just talking, and he said that Coach Dietrich loves the 5 freshmen, but he loves this pitching staff because there is so much talent, and that everybody is pushing one another for a chance to play. You might not be able to, you might have a role right now, and your role might just be if you're a lefty pitcher and a righty comes up, that's your guy, boom, we pass the baton to the next one. And that's kind of the way Coach Godwin and Coach Dietrich have decided that they're going to start things out, the non-starters, but the rest of the bullpen.
And that's what Coach Godwin has said. He kind of takes the Alabama approach that they're all starters. Some of them just haven't gotten their chance to do it yet. And that's one of the things that I've really admired about Coach Godwin, Coach Palumbo, all those guys is they get these guys in here that all want to play every game. They want to play every inning of every game. But deep down, they kind of know that they can't, but they're able to find their role. And we've had guys through the years that have found roles that have really, helped the Pirates win a lot of games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the people that I always think back to the 2016 Super Regional is Matt Bridges. We're playing at Texas Tech, and we had just won the Charlottesville Regional. Sam Lanier was I think a freshman at that time, or might have been a sophomore. I think he was a freshman, and he closes out the William and Mary game that we win, and then all of a sudden we're going to Texas Tech, and we find ourselves in a position where we're leading and have a chance to win our first ever Super Regional game. And then Matt Bridges comes in and locks it down, throws 6 strikeouts and, in 3 1/3 innings. And, man, that was a pretty good offensive team, and they couldn't sniff him.
Yeah.
And, and this was 2016, so this is his freshman year, Cliff's second year as a head coach at East Carolina. And, now you look at where he's at, and how he's grown and things like that. But you're right, you don't know your roles until you get here, until your number is literally called, like, okay, hey, let's bring Colmore in.
Yep.
Okay, here you go.
You got to be ready.
You got to be ready.
As a Pirate. All right, media coverage for Pirate baseball in 2021 is going to be very different. Normal, conditions, we get passes, we go, we have a photographer. I'm lucky enough to usually have a photographer go, or I'll shoot. We'll have a couple of people, straggle around to help with interviews. You'll have a full press box. It's really a baseball party is what it is, and we get paid to do it. This year, it's going to be completely different, and I think everybody kind of respects the fact that it's different. I don't think you'll get any argument from anybody because that's just the way it is, but it's very different for you guys, isn't it?
It really is this year. With football, we were able to have a little more people than what we thought we were going to, because you're able to spread out the 6 difference and everything. With basketball being indoor, everything's indoor. We were able to have up in the rafters where the media typically sits, but then photographers were able to walk around the concourse, the second level concourse area, but nothing on the court itself. Well, with baseball, we're a little different. It's a lot smaller. We're only going to be able to allow to have 5 media inside the press box, and that's it. Everybody else, unfortunately, will get what we call a red pass, which gives them access to the concourse area. So, videographers like yourself with TV stations will be sitting, they'll have spots down there. We'll have a lot of the online media outlets. That's where they're going to be sitting now. Photographers are down there. Photographers can't be on the field. Nobody can be on the field this year. So it's going to be a lot of getting used to. Obviously, I'm going to have to get used to it because I'm used to having a full press box and, interacting with everybody on a regular basis. I'm not going to be able to do that a lot this year.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, as a photographer, and especially the guys that work with Noah Knight, Kelsey O'Donnell, those folks, I mean, they'll go on the field for the intro, the coaches shaking hands at home plate, and all that's out the window right now. I mean, and the worst thing is, and I think about this a lot, as a media member, you don't want to go somewhere where all of a sudden you're positive and you got somebody else, because and so that's the number one reason you stay where you're supposed to stay, and then something could still happen. Everybody knows that. I mean, we're in a situation where you just can't tell. I mean, Coach Dooley, we did his coach's show, and a day later he tested positive, and we were about around 6 feet. We try to stay 6 feet, but so I was a little concerned, but it wasn't his fault. But I mean, it was just something that was concerning, and I stayed out for a while from work and just worked from home and quarantined, self-quarantined, and got a negative test, and it was okay. But you just can't tell. You just don't know.
No, you really don't. I mean, like you said, with Coach Dooley, and with one of the things that I do is typically I travel with the baseball team. Well, I'm not going to travel this year because I don't want to be the guy that makes ECU baseball pause.
That's true. Yep.
And so I'm very limited with and have been this whole year, even in the fall, I've been very limited of what I can do and be around players, and I have to be socially distant. I have to wear a mask and things like that. So basically I can go and get a lineup before the game starts, take it up to the press box, we print it out, take it back down to both coaches. That's it. I'm not on the field anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, you always know, I get the players, I help conduct the interviews, Coach Godwin needs to go this way, Burleson needs to go this way. Now everything, once the game's over with, it'll be via Zoom, and, just like what we've done with football and we've done with basketball.
I hope I never do another Zoom interview as soon as this thing's over.
Well, if you were smart and got bought stock in it, you'd be doing pretty good right now.
That may be true, but those the interviews are just they're just so different in nature, and and I still say a lot of the media hadn't figured it out, because they'll press their button for their microphone, and then their face pops up, because you have to go in there and tag whoever you're trying to get the interview with. I finally figured that out, but it's a complicated procedure. And true story about Zoom. When we first started doing them, I did a deal with Coach Ruff. I think it was when he was named one of the associates at NC State. I don't think he's officially an assistant coach, but he's on the staff with Dave Doran. And so I was doing this little Zoom with him, and instead of hitting the record button, I was hitting the video button, because I was thinking, it's video, I need the video. So I did it twice, and I called him back, and he said, "B, you better get it right this time."
Well, it takes a while to figure it out. I mean, I've had to learn how to do it on the fly and things like that. And once you do it a couple times, you're fine. But you're right. There are some people that they go to ask a question, and all you see their mouth moving, but nothing's coming out.
That, and they'll hit their because everybody in the media wants to be the next person to ask the question, so they'll push their button down before the coach is finished, and then they pop up on the screen, which doesn't do you any good. But those are just little trivial matters that we talk about. But one thing we will miss, because if you're not going on the road, then that means that Corey won't have anybody to bounce things off with, and that's going to, Corey does a great job, don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot easier, and the broadcast is probably better with having somebody like Coach O or yourself, and I think Pirate fans will miss that, but that's just another part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. Corey will be doing it all on his own, and when I feel for him more than anything is once we get into conference play and you have that double header.
Oh, yeah.
You have to play 4 games over 3 days. Now, Corey can do it, and he'll tell you he can do it, but his throat's going to be stretched. It's going to be tired, but he does such a great job. And I tell him this all the time. The only reason I get on to help him out is to give him a breather. Plus, it's also, like you said, though, it is two people who know what's going on. They know the team. They know the game of baseball, and you can just bounce, like you said, things off one another.
I mean, it's bouncing things back and forth, and talking about plays, and talking about close plays, and really we're fortunate ESPN Plus is going to have a lot of the games that aren't on ESPN Plus. There's a term, what is it? Something through.
It's like a side through, I think it's called.
Something like that. They'll show the games with Corey's voice on them, and then there's a couple of games that will be, I think, just a one-camera deal through ECUPirates.com. But you'll be able to see all the games the way I understand it.
Yes, you will be, and we've actually
pass-through, I think, is what that is.
Pass-through, that's what it's called. We actually updated our schedule on ECUPirates.com just last week, and so when you go to the baseball schedule or any spring sports schedule, you can look and you'll see 2 icons. One is ESPN Plus, and then the other will be ECUPirates.com. So you'll know where you can go and stream that, and we'll have watch live links to help fans walk them through till they understand where they need to go. But this weekend we've got, I think, the Friday Sunday game is on ESPN. ESPN Plus with the pass through, so we'll have Corey and Coach O's calls, and then on Saturday you'll have just ECUPirates.com, but it's still going to be Corey and Coach O. So fans this weekend will get Corey and Coach O all weekend.
Has the American announced what they're going to do with the 4 games? Is the doubleheader Friday now?
They're still working on it. Last I heard, it is up to the institution, the school, what they want to do. I think from what I have kind of gathered and just talking with people for ECU, all of their games, the doubleheaders will be the first day of the series, except the opening series, because that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is Easter weekend. Right. I think the doubleheader might be that Friday, but the other 3 home events that we have that are conference will be the Fridays, will be the doubleheaders, and one game will be a 7-inning game, one will be a 9. We just don't know what order, and obviously we haven't heard game times yet.
Okay, that was the next question. Are they going to do 2 9s, 2 7s, or alternate?
It'll be a 7 and a 9, and or a 9 and a 7. It's going to be the combination. We just don't know which.
I would think they would go 9 first, don't you think, and then 7 after that?
That's where Coach Godwin, Coach Palumbo, and Coach Dietrich. That's why they're coaches.
I guess
because they know the staff.
So they get to determine that then, the home team?
Yes, the home team decides. Well, what they'll do is they will, if we're playing, we'll use Cincinnati for an example. So that Friday, Coach Godwin and Cincinnati's coach will talk about it, and they'll be like, this is what we want to do. Do you agree with that? And then if
they don't agree,
then I don't know what happens. So I have no clue. So I would venture to say, but like I said, I think it's up to the home institution.
Yeah.
But once you announce it as a 7-inning game, it is a 7-inning game. And then this year you get into extra innings. they throw a runner on second base. They're doing the Major League Baseball extra inning rules this year.
Yeah, okay, the runner at second base. But you would think, I mean, you can't even look really, if you're talking to another coach, you know, he may alter his pitching staff to whichever way the 7 and 9 goes.
Yeah, exactly. And we would do the same thing. So I would think early on, you know, when I say early on, especially when we get to conference, there is no non-conference games before a conference series this year. So I would think Monday-ish, you know, sometime Monday, Cliff would be talking with the head coach of the other team saying, okay, we're going to play a 9, we're going to play a 7 and a 9. You know, they agree on it, so that way they set up their pitching staff. You know, they might want to not have their Friday guy throw the first game, he might throw the second game.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
That kind of thing, because you also got to worry about your bullpen, how that's going to work and everything as well.
And if you have a Friday, you're not going to go like a Friday day, Friday night. You're going to go 45 minutes between games.
That I haven't heard. You know, I would venture to say that's the case.
Yeah.
You know, you might have it where you play a 1 o'clock game and then you come back, you know, for a 6:30 game once daylight saving time hits, or it could be it's a 2 or 2:30, and then you go.
Yeah, I would think they'd want to go the 45 just to get them off the, you know, because I think if you stretch, the more you stretch it out, the more hours you're out there and that kind of thing.
That is true. Yeah, there's things like that, university hours that you got to take in consideration as well.
All right, talking baseball, Pirate baseball on this game week, East Carolina, Rhode Island coming up for the weekend. We're back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Monday after this.
First came the PCC location, then came the ECU location on Jarvis Street. Now introducing the newest store at 10th Street at the Food Line near Walmart. It's Angus Grill 3. 3 restaurants featuring all of your favorite burgers and more. They've got your classic Angus, steak burger, brisket burger, black and blue burger, sweet sriracha burger, jalapeno popper burger. You get the idea. Now with 3 options for the best burger in town. Angus Grill at PCC, Angus Grill at ECU, and now Angus Grill at 10th Street in the Food Line Shopping Center. It's Greenville's best burger, times 3.
There's no better time to drive away with a quality pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Greenville Auto World. Greenville Auto World is your authorized rough country dealer. We specialize in lift and leveling kits along with custom wheel packages. Whether you're looking for ground clearance or enhancing the appearance of your vehicle, trust our team for your off-road experience. Greenville Auto World, 3840 South Charles Boulevard across from Hardee's at Bell's Fork, or online at greenvilleautoworld.net.
Villa Verde on 10th Street, Greenville's only Dominican restaurant, now features a brand new lunch menu, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Choose from your favorites like the Villa Verde Burger, the Veggie Burger, the Cuban Sandwich, the Dominican Club, the Villa Wrap, the Vegetable Sandwich, the Big Poppy Steak Sandwich, or create your own bowl, all with your choice of side and a drink for under $10. If you're looking for a high-quality, healthy, and affordable lunch, Villa Verde is your place. Villa Verde, a platform for good. Find yourself working from home or at least spending more time there? Want some remodeling for your house or a fresh look? How about a new deck or screened-in porch to add livable space outside? Don't know who to call? Well, you do now. Call the professionals at R&R Remodeling. They've been serving the local community for 15 years. Ronnie and his crew can help you today. Call for a free quote, 252-286-4119, or visit R&R Remodeling on Facebook. R&R Remodeling, construction you can count on.
Chico's Mexican Restaurant is where the fiesta never ends. Grab your amigos and head to Chico's every Wednesday for shrimp tacos for only $9.99. Plus Wednesdays means all Mexican imports for only $2.50. Thursdays, enjoy your favorite beef, chicken, or vegetable fajitas for only $9.99. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's in downtown Greenville, and now available through DoorDash, featuring a half-gallon of the famous margarita mix to go for only $9.99. Chico's, where the fiesta never ends.
You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
All right, welcome back. Malcolm Gray, who is the Director of Media Relations in East Carolina. He's in charge of baseball, live in the studio with us. Cliff Godwin will join us next week for the first half hour, so we're looking forward to that to see how the Pirates do for the weekend. And, of course, we'll preview the Duke game coming up next week in non-conference play with Coach Godwin next week. We were talking during the break, and some of the things I brought up, you know, the photographers going on the field and getting the coaches at home plate. There's none of that to shoot anyway, because the coaches aren't allowed to come out to talk to the umpires. That meeting doesn't take place this year in the age of COVID.
No, it really doesn't. No, from what I've been told is the home plate umpire will go to say Coach Godwin, and he will get his copy of the lineup. He will also get the copy for the visiting team. Then he'll go over, he'll get it, and then he'll exchange them and all like that. So with the COVID-19 rules, they're trying to eliminate all that as well. And so, it's going to be a different look. Even before the game's even started, it's already a different look.
Yeah. Got a question on our Facebook live feed. It says, what is the protocol as far as pitchers handling the baseballs in between pitches? Is there a number the umps will go by? Is there a number of pitches and they'll switch them out? Or
I have not heard anything. That doesn't mean that they haven't talked about something. But I do know in Major League Baseball that they are allowing players to have instead of one rosin bag that everybody uses, you can have kind of like one in your back pocket that you can use to wipe off for moisture. I venture to say that's kind of going to be the same thing, but actually for the baseball itself, I don't know. I would venture to say kind of like what they did last year with baseball as well, is once the ball is like out of play regardless, boom, throw it away, go to the next one. It becomes a BP ball instead of, a game ball again. How
much are you going to miss fans at Clark LeClaire, because they're so much a part of everything the Pirate baseball does?
I'm gonna miss it big time, and obviously I know the fans are going to miss it. We're very fortunate where at least the players' parents will be able to be there and watch, and we're, kind of hoping that once, we get to warmer months that we might be able to expand it a little bit. Obviously, that's not East Carolina's call. That is a call from the governor of North Carolina, and we just have to abide by the rules and regulations that they give us. But it's going to be different because when you're in that dogfight of a game, and you need you need energy. All it takes is a purple gold chant. All it takes is, just one song, gets everybody going. And, you're not going to have that. So coaches talked about it. They're going to have to create their own energy. Now, they've been doing that since the since the fall. So they're used to it, but they can't rely on the team if they're, if it's just one of those days that they're really fighting hard.
I think Coach Houston, he said it as well. You recruited East Carolina. You recruit that home crowd. Yeah. I think Cliff Godwin recruits at East Carolina and shows the regional crowds and shows the crowds against the North Carolina or NC State. And it really, the thing about Clark LeClaire Stadium is that when it's crowded and packed, there's people everywhere in the seats, in the jungle. And I think that's the one thing. And I don't want to make it a political statement or anything, but I don't think the governor's office, kind of understands, and I don't think they understood it during football season either. You can spread people out in these stadiums. You can spread a lot of people at Clark LeClaire Stadium and keep them 12 feet apart. There's enough room in there to get people in the jungle, on the berm. They can, in the stands. There should be more people than what they're going to put in there.
I would agree with you on that, but like you, I'm not a, political person when it comes to that. I just know what our rules and regulations are, and that's what we have to go by, unfortunately.
Is there a number, or is it just?
It's I think it's 100 fans.
100 fans.
Yeah, and that includes tickets for the fans, the players' parents, and then and then up to 100 fans. There might be some individuals that will get to go in if actually I think for both teams, and then there might be very few additional people that might be able to go in,
like basketball.
What we're doing with basketball, plus media, both teams, things like that. So when it's all said and done, you're looking at probably 200 people, but actual fans that are watching the game, we're capped at 100 this year, or as of right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be a crazy time because we start high school football a week from this Friday.
Yeah.
That's when high school football starts, and I just can't imagine doing an ECU baseball game and then say, we'll be back with Touchdown Friday after this. It's just going to be, and Cliff Godwin was a star, by the way, on Touchdown Friday at one point in Snow Hill at Green Central High School, so he knows a little bit about that, and now they're going to be competing for the sports fans' attention.
It is. It's crazy, and not just look at that, but look at all high school sports. Look at all college sports, like ECU. We've got 15 sports, including spring football, that's going to be going on this semester.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys are going to do it with all the streaming and all the ESPN Plus and everything like that. That's a big undertaking, isn't it?
It really is, and we're very fortunate enough. We have Greg Pierce, who's one of the best in the biz, and he's the guy that's been behind this from the very beginning. setting up the new studio, the new dungeon is what we used to call it back in the day.
Dungeon.
And he and Brandon Smith, and we've hired a producer who's going to be doing these games. And then we've had, we've been fortunate enough to be able to have, when games are on ESPN broadcast, and you have a play-by-play in color, we've been able to get good people to come in there and fill in for those roles when we haven't had them.
And I've been fortunate enough to get a chance to host the Coach Houston show for television earlier in the fall, and then the Coach Julie show. And I give credit to coaches like Coach Godwin, who've been more than willing to fill in, because when Pirate basketball shut down, there's no games to talk about, there's no practices to talk about. That's the hard part for me too. When they're shut down, they can't come to the facility. And think about Pirate baseball right now, because they go every day, they hit every day. If they get shut down, you can't go to the facility. You can't just go anywhere and just hit. You've got to have all the equipment there and everything, and so it's you got to be COVID safe.
Yeah, and I remember once things ended last year the way they did. I know you wanted to get up with Coach Godwin.
Right, everybody did.
It was me, you, Coach Godwin, and Brian Meador, and we're sitting there, and it was like a ghost town.
Yep.
And this is a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, and players should be there working out, and we're sitting outside, and we're 6-7 feet apart. At that time, we didn't know how far apart we had to be, but we were far enough apart. You still got the interview done, but it was
scary.
Afterwards, we were talking, and we were all like, "Oh, this will be over with in no time," and then it wasn't, and.
No time continues.
How much has it changed?
Yeah, no time continues. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show for you with Malcolm Gray after this.
Ahoy, mateys! To keep those cars clean, you need the Pirates Cove Fast Pass.
The new Pirates Cove Car Wash and Haviland Express Lube on Glen Burnie Road in New Bern is now open. Pirates Cove in New Bern is offering Fast Passes for $9.99 for new Fast Pass customers. You can visit us in Greenville on Fire Tower Road, Memorial Drive, and on East 10th Street. And have you heard? Pirates Cove on Fire Tower Road is now offering interior cleaning.
So we have you surrounded. Pirates Cove, the official car wash partner of ECU Athletics.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Wait up. Papa John's has a new stuffed crust. Oh, we did it. All our tweets, DMs, and carrier pigeons worked. This ain't just stuffed crust. This is Papa John's crust. Stuffed.
Hey, Pirate fans, order the new Epic Stuffed Crust One-Topping Pizza for only $12. The new Epic Stuffed Crust Pizza is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
Let us help you get back to business. This is Donald Stocks and Justin Judge of PIP of Eastern North Carolina. We're ready to assist your business with branded PPE. Would you like face masks with your logo? We can do that, plus custom social distancing signage. Now is the time to ramp up your marketing efforts. Whether it's cutting edge, contactless, touchless marketing, or traditional direct mail, we can do it all. We are PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun Filet biscuit, like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite, except the second first bite. Get a Cajun Filet biscuit combo for just $4.99. It's bow time.
This is Coach Gary Overton, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
Hi, welcome back as we wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show. Malcolm Gray, my guest live in the studio. Cliff Godwin next week as we talk about and recap the Rhode Island series. When you look at some of the guys and some of the players on this team, I mean, the other thing that I always think about with Cliff's teams, I mean, these guys, they're really good guys. They're really active in the community. We get a chance with the Exceptional Baseball League until last year, and this year probably the same thing. We won't have one, but in years past, getting with them, and they play with the special needs kids. I mean, they do a lot in the community, and they're just really good kids, aren't they?
They're super kids. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to get to know them on a personal level as well as their parents. That's one of the things that's hard about it for me this year, or even last year and going into this year, and especially this year not traveling, is because that's when I get a chance to know about the kids and I get a chance to meet the parents. When we do interviews, like we're talking, like either on a Wednesday or Thursday, non-game day, we're sitting out there. That's a chance for you guys to get a chance to know the kids, get to know them a little bit. But I mean, they've got a certain set of criteria that they're looking for on the field, off the field, how they carry themselves. And we've won meaning the ECU baseball team has been has had the highest GPA in the American for 5 straight years. It's won the ABCA Academic Excellence Award. They've put in over 5,000 hours in the community since Cliff's got here. So they're doing it not just on the field, but they're also doing it off the field in the community and in the classroom.
Mustache March returns. So are you going to do anything different? You're already halfway there. You got to wipe out some stuff to play Mustache March.
I think I'm going to. That's going to be the weekend of the Declare weekend when we're playing App State and for a 3-game series. But I know Zach Womack's already got his going.
I saw that,
and I'm sure you'll get yours going if Melissa will let you.
She will not let me. I'll just do it anyway. I stay in the doghouse anyway, so
just beg for forgiveness later on.
Exactly.
I got you.
I want y'all to do something. I think I'm trying to go like a real skinny one, but I don't think that's going to look good. And I try to do something. I try to do something different every year. One year I colored it, and that really didn't go well.
It did not go over well. I remember that.
I thought it was hilarious, but it was fun. But it all goes. ALS is such a terrible disease, and it's so close to the Pirate program with what we all saw Keith LeClaire go through it, and others that have been close to the Pirate baseball program. And I believe it's is it Memphis and Michigan, isn't it?
Yeah, Memphis and Michigan join in with us as well, and the goal is to always add another team or two if we can, because there's no such thing as too much money for this.
Right. Yeah. And the Ice Bucket Challenge raised all those millions. Yeah. But every little bit counts. And really, the COVID has taken away some of the events that help raise money, like the ALS Walk every year. We didn't have it last year.
Right.
I think plans are they may not have it again this year. You would think you could do stuff like that, and socially, distance, but you really can't, because it's a big group together. And for the Exceptional Baseball League, I haven't heard anything completely total, but the talk is we have to help the kids bat, and you have to be close to them.
Yeah.
And so with this deal still going on, so hopefully everybody will get vaccinated and herd immunity, or whatever happens, and we'll get back to normal closer to football season. But we got baseball to go, and I think it's going to be, like we all say, we complain and stuff, but we got baseball.
We got baseball.
And after last year and seeing how devastating that was to everybody, then we get a chance to go out and play the games, and you just got to have your head on a swivel, don't you? Because you might have a cancellation when you get off this show, and you may be scrambling and trying to find another game, or trying to help coach get organized with information about the team that they come up with, and it could be a scramble.
It can be. I mean, like you said, you've got to have it on a swivel, because anything can happen at any time.
Brian, great show today. If I could do a quick promo for the week, we're talking baseball all week on Pirate Radio.
Okay.
Got Seth Simmons, former ECU closer.
Sizzle.
Who is now the pitching coordinator for the Dirtbags, I believe. We'll talk to him later this week. Corey Glore going to join us. Coach O going to join us this week, too. So we'll be talking ECU baseball all week long here on Pirate Radio.
Is Cliff on today?
And Cliff Godwin today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought he was on at 5. But he was the lead story of that.
I was thinking later this week. But coming up today, Cliff Godwin at 5 o'clock.
Cliff's on at 5 o'clock to help kick off this baseball week, game week at East Carolina. You kind of excited, aren't you? Ready to go?
I'm ready to go. If I can I got to get to Thursday. Once I get to Thursday, if it's not done by Thursday, it's not getting done. So I got to get to Thursday.
But how are you going to do the road games as far as your,
We're still trying to figure that out. kind of like what me and my boss Tom did for football. If hopefully there's a stream so I can, be able to watch the game. The biggest thing for me is, we like to make a lot of changes late in the game. The guy comes in, pinch hits. Where does he go? Well, if it's a guy who can play 3 different positions, you don't know. So, I'm going to be in constant contact with the media relations person for the other team that's scoring the game, just like they're going to have to be with me when we're at home.
Yeah, it's going to be different, that's for sure. Malcolm, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the conversation.
Hey, Brian, it's always good, man. Thank you.
East Carolina Pirate Baseball and Rhode Island 3-game series coming up this weekend. That's our show for today. Have yourself a great sports week. It's game week for East Carolina Pirate Baseball. Back with the Brian Bailey Show right here next week.
This has been the Brian Bailey Show, brought to you by
Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Angus Grill, Gavigan Insurance, BMS Builders, The Rick House, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Pepsi, Seared Chop House, Taft and